do we have a fantasy star on our hands here, George? Here is the question with Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders. A lot of folks went into the fantasy season saying, hey, look, maybe this isn't Anthony Richardson, but it could be the next best thing. I'm here to tell you, I don't know. I'm sort of feeling like Daniels could be better than Anthony Richardson.
I don't know if I'm going to go there yet, all right? But I think he's in the conversation, yeah. What did we hear at draft time? A lot of people wanted a quarterback who could move, right? You don't want the guy who's going to take 5-7 steps and throw the football anymore because you want that additional rushing yards. You get 50, 60 yards, that's a touchdown, right? That's why Josh Allen is so valuable. Lamar Jackson is so valuable, right? You go up and down. Jalen Hurts. You go up and down here. I think Daniels is going to be a good quarterback. I think Washington got their guy, and he can throw the football too. We know McLaurin's a really good wide receiver. It may not be much else there. We'll see what McCaffrey can be. Luke McCaffrey can be there in time. But I do have hope for him. I think at season's end he's going to be a quarterback one. It may be a low end quarterback one, but a quarterback one nonetheless.
Yeah, I was really impressed watching him in that game. All right, now Anthony Richardson, look, he's going to have a big year. He's going to have a big fantasy year. There's no question about it. I don't know about the long-term viability here. And look, give him credit. He hung in there with the Houston Texans. My fear for him, George, is that when you go back and you watch film, if you protect the deep ball against Richardson, he could hurt you with his legs. And that may be where all of his fantasy value is coming from. I cannot see him throwing 2 70-yard bombs like he did again.
That should come in time, right? Practice time. I think he will get better here. I think Richardson's going to be fine. Does need to learn how to avoid hits. All right. Once again, that hit. Remember that hit from Tua last night? He initiated it. Slide. The rules are made for you not to get hit. Take advantage of them.
Let's roll. This is Sports Rage. I am Gabriel Morency. The picks, the players, the hustlers, the people of Bustle, and everybody else in between. The Friday Night Freak Show has begun, and we're shaking it up on the program tonight. We've got a new slate, a new rotation, as Tony Finn is a late scratch this evening. Rob Vino in the house this evening. Gamblu unable to join us tonight. Terry Bowden, a scratch as well, but we got a full house. The Steamroller steps up and in. Sniper West, Sniper Picks in the house. The Ranger Redhead, Cam Stewart, throws it down with us as well. So it's kind of the calm before the storm right now. Bowl season set to begin in less than 24 hours, but we got the Celebration Bowl and the Salute to Veterans Bowl. We've got the NBA Cup, but it's really all about the NFL this weekend. But let's get after it right now of what's going on and what we can lay down on as we speak. And as we speak right now, we do have a college football playoff game going on. That's right, playoffs, FCS playoffs going on right now with Bozeman, Montana, and it's rocking tonight. The stadium is they're fired up. They've been drinking for a couple of days, and you can tell Montana State were 14-point favorites over the visiting Idaho Vandals. They beat them 38-7 earlier in the year, but Idaho's quarterback didn't play in that game. Idaho were beat up and injured in that football game. So a little bit of a different of a scenario here. And even though Idaho obviously are a cold weather team, they actually play in a dome. So now they're playing outdoors against Montana State. I don't know, it doesn't seem to be that cold. It's cold, but not that cold type of deal. As it is right now, Montana State, they're up 17-10 with a little under 4 minutes remaining in the first half of play. In-game total is currently 58.5. And it was like 55.5 before the game started, and it was 14, and now they're laying 13.5. It was actually like 10.5, 11 earlier in the week, but you got to jump on these numbers quickly because not a ton of people bet on this stuff, but the people that bet on it know what they're doing when it comes to this stuff. We got an NBA game coming up with the San Antonio Spurs and the Portland Trailblazers. Hey, listen, I don't make the schedule. I just bet it, all right? So we got the Spurs and the Blazers coming up. I'm going to take the Spurs in this game, minus 150 on the money line. It continues to go up. You can lay 3.5 in the game right now. It's getting ready for tip-off. So we played the Spurs. It's the last game of the night, although we do have our eye on the Clippers and the Nuggets. We're on the LA Clippers plus the points. We got the Clippers plus 7. I got the over in the game. It's lower scoring than I thought it would be. These two teams always play track meets when they play against each other. Lower scoring game. Clippers are up 42-39 right now, late in the first half. So the Clippers are covering the 7, but the game isn't going over the number. We got some player props rocking. But as far as the Spurs game is concerned, give me the Spurs on the money line. Listen, the Wembanyama, you're always paying a price for Wembanyama props. And he doesn't always get 25 or more points, but he has been, right? Like, you know what I mean? He's been pretty consistent now. He's getting 24, 25, 26, etc. It's 24.5 tonight, so I expect he's going to land like a 23 or 25 type of deal. But we're getting plus money with 3.5 blocks tonight. Wembanyama's a blocking machine, all right? So you're getting like plus 115 over 3.5 blocks. I took it. We also played the over 24.5 points with Wembanyama, and we've got the San Antonio Spurs to win the game. We're on the Clippers plus 7, and we're on the over. We're on Harden over points, Powell over points, Jokic over points. Right now, there's NBA basketball games that are kind of winding down that are still going on. The Lakers were getting a ton of points tonight. They're hanging around. It's 85-79 with under 4 minutes remaining. The Grizz are up a 12 spot on the Brooklyn Nets early in the fourth quarter of play, 113-101, a high-scoring game. The Bulls are drilling the Charlotte Hornets right now, 96-81. College basketball, Indiana and Nebraska. Nebraska rolling right now. Nebraska laid 5 points in this basketball game, and the Huskers getting it done, up a 15 spot on the Hoosiers right now. As far as West Coast late-night action that we can lay it down on, the Buffaloes are playing South Dakota State. The odds makers are on to this. South Dakota State are getting 6.5 in-game right now. Utah Tech and Weber State, Western Michigan, and St. Thomas. Yeah, it's one of those nights tonight. So we'll run the gauntlet. We'll go over the NFL card, in which this is the best NFL slate of the year by far. Right? We've got a little bit of something for a little bit of something for everybody here. You've got teams battling for playoff spots. You've got teams battling like for the wild card. You got teams battling for the division lead. You got teams battling for playoff seeding and home field. Right? You look at the Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have the same record, but they're both playing tough opponents this week. They're both on the road. Right? The Buffalo Bills were thinking about potentially catching Kansas City for the 1 seed. You know, suddenly they don't win this football game, and if the Pittsburgh Steelers find a way to win the football game, then suddenly the Buffalo Bills are the 3 seed. So there's a lot on the line here. The Minnesota Vikings. I'd say, you know what, the Vikings and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers really are not getting a lot of respect considering how good their record is and the season that they've had. But this seems to be a common pattern. I remember when Ben Roethlisberger was there in one of his last years, they were like 9-0, and people were talking about they're the worst 9-0 team in the history of football, right? And they're not getting a lot of love in the big picture right now. And I'd say the same thing about the Minnesota Vikings. And no one it's like, oh, the Vikings. The Vikings only lost 2 games this year. Yeah, but, and you know what that yeah, but is? SD, Sam Darnold. That's the yeah, but when it comes to the Minnesota Vikings and people not fully believing and trusting the process with the Minnesota Vikings. Can they do this in the playoffs with Sam Darnold is another question, but the Minnesota Vikings definitely are not getting the credit that they deserve, and even O'Connell for Coach of the Year. Come on, man. Like, if you would have told someone before the season started that this team, would have 2 losses right now a week before Christmas, and it's Sam Darnold will be the quarterback. Yeah, not only should this guy be the Coach of the Year, you should probably put him in the Hall of Fame right now. Big-time game Sunday night with the Packers and the Seahawks. We got a bunch of line movement as well. The Buccaneers and the Chargers, another big one. Hell, the Falcons and the Raiders are a big game on Monday night in Las Vegas. Hopefully the Raiders can refrain from getting arrested again before we kick things off on Monday Night Football. Another drunk driving arrest for the Las Vegas Raiders. Fortunately, nobody was injured, yet the footage was pretty scary Like the car was like teetering, like the car was teetering. Players are passed out. And I guess it's just another day in Las Vegas. But as somebody that's lived in Las Vegas before, I can tell you factually that Las Vegas has the highest concentration of drunk drivers, like anywhere. Like, and it's like basically like 50% of people are drunk. And, there's like another 50% of people that are distracted after they left a casino. Right? If you think about it, like you drank too much, and the cops can't get everybody on the parking lot on the way out. They try, right? They try. Like you'll see them waiting, and they have little sting operations and stuff like that. But everybody's drunk. There's drinks everywhere, and if not, you've got somebody leaving the casino after losing $18,000. What am I going to tell my wife? They're freaking out. Boom! Next thing you know, they run someone over. Vegas has like the highest pedestrian death rate in America. Why? Because everybody's drunk. Watch out when you see a Las Vegas Raider player behind the wheel. Bring it.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
Do we have a fantasy star on our hands here, George? Here is the question with Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders. A lot of folks went into the fantasy season saying, hey, look, maybe this isn't Anthony Richardson, but it could be the next best thing. I'm here to tell you, I don't know. I'm sort of feeling like Daniels could be better than Anthony Richardson.
I don't know if I'm going to go there yet, all right, but I think he's in the conversation, yeah. What did we hear at draft time? A lot of people wanted a quarterback who could move, right? You don't want the guy who's going to take 5-7 steps and throw the football anymore because you want that additional rushing yards. You get 50, 60 yards, that's a touchdown, right? That's why Josh Allen is so valuable. Lamar Jackson is so valuable, right? You go up and down. Jalen Hurts. You go up and down here. I think Daniels is going to be a good quarterback. I think Washington got their guy, and he can throw the football too. We know McLaurin's a really good wide receiver. It may not be much else there. We'll see what McCaffrey can be. Luke McCaffrey can be there in time. But I do have hope for him. I think at season's end he's going to be a quarterback one. It may be a low end quarterback one, but a quarterback one nonetheless.
Yeah, I was really impressed watching him in that game. All right, now Anthony Richardson, look, he's going to have a big year. He's going to have a big fantasy year. There's no question about it. I don't know about the long-term viability here. And look, give him credit. He hung in there with the Houston Texans. My fear for him, George, is that when you go back and you watch film, if you protect the deep ball against Richardson, he could hurt you with his legs. And that may be where all of his fantasy value is coming from. I cannot see him throwing 2 70-yard bombs like he did again.
That should come in time, right? Practice time. I think he will get better here. I think Richardson's going to be fine. Does need to learn how to avoid hits. All right. Once again, remember that hit from Tua last night? He initiated it. Slide. The rules are made for you not to get hit. Take advantage of them.
This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. The Friday Night Freak Show has begun. We've got another touchdown in Bozeman, Montana. Montana State have scored again, and now they're up 24-10, laying 18.5. We laid 14 in this football game. Listen, Idaho, as I stated, they played earlier in the year, and Montana State beat them like 38-7. Idaho's quarterback didn't play in the game, but I didn't think it would be that much of a difference. One thing about the FCS playoffs is they're road games. It'll be interesting to see how it translates into the playoffs next week, whether the home teams just absolutely pummel everybody. But in these games, it's really hard for the road teams to win. Like these teams have distinct home field advantages. Like that North Dakota State, the dome that they play in, it's impossible to win there. Idaho's a dome team. Now they're playing outside on the road here at Montana State. Bozeman's one of the toughest places in the country to play. South Dakota State are like the team to beat. Super hard to play there as well. So you're up against it when you go on the road. Montana State up 24-10 right now with a $1:12 left in the first half. All right, let's bring in Sniper Wes right now and Cam Stewart. Wes is in L.A., Cam's in Toronto. And speaking of L.A., I'm on the Clippers tonight. The Nuggets have gone on a little bit of a run. It's 48-47 right now at the half. So really low-scoring game. The total's 208.5 right now. It was 227, and the Clippers were getting 7. And the Spurs and Blazers are just off and running right now. But Wes is still living the dream of the Los Angeles Dodgers World Series win. As you see, he's rocking the hat here tonight. And I want to tell Fat Joe to shut his fat mouth. I'm talking about, like, Juan Soto got more than the Japanese guy for a reason. Yeah, what reason? Because the Mets were desperate. They're like the loser rich friend down the street that wanted to buy a friend. So they bought a friend in Juan Soto. Yeah, they bought a friend. You're a bunch of losers. You bought a friend. Good for you.
He's a talented friend, though. Not
Lindor's a pretty talented friend, too.
Yes.
They've got some players, but now Fat Joe's like Fat Joe was asked about if it bothered him that the Dodgers talk smack about him. And he said, no, it was my dream to play Yankee Stadium. I don't care what people say about me. But then he said there's a reason why Juan Soto got paid more than the Japanese guy. So I was thinking, Wes, I'm like, dude, you keep running your mouth, Joe, you're gonna end up in a song like Drake. Except the only difference is, I was thinking the only difference is, Fat Joe, you're not relevant enough for Kendrick to go after you. Like, seriously. Well, you're like the equivalent of, like, Tiffany. I think we're alone now, or Debbie Gibson. Oh, look at me. I'm Fat Joe. Good for you.
Yeah. No, it was funny. I mean,
he's not even fat anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not even fat anymore.
Oh, he's Skinny Joe. It's like you're Skinny Joe.
So we had Ice Cube. We had Ice Cube, right? Game 2. And then they had to come back with Fat Joe, Game 3. I'm like, really? That's what you guys are coming back with? Fat Joe after Ice Cube just brought down the house? I mean, I don't know. I thought it was kind of funny, actually. But
the Dodgers...
it was like
they
a $5 million difference
so much
between the Yankees and Mets offer. It was like $5 million difference, and he decided to go to the Mets.
Well, per year.
I can't believe that.
Kind of like per year, though. Like it was like $4 million. I guess it's like 51 to 47 or something in the end, basically.
Gotcha.
He clearly didn't want to be a Yankee. And I tell you what, guys, like if I'm in the New York Mets, like don't be surprised in like 2 years he doesn't want to be a Met. Like he hasn't been happy anywhere. Like seriously.
He's a mercenary.
He won the World Series with the Nationals. They offered him $440 million at the time to stay. And he said, no, I want to leave. He ends up on San Diego, living in a beautiful city with, like, on Manny Machado, great team. They make the playoffs. They offer him money. No, he doesn't want to stay. He's still not happy.
So Juan Soto,
he goes to the New York Yankees. He goes to the Yankees, and did Soto sign with Tennessee now? Am I uncertain about this? Did I miss an NIL signing? Juan Soto with the Tennessee Volunteer Football Team?
Yes, exactly. Morency, you're in fine form on a Friday, Morency. I'll tell you what.
Cam. Am I talking about the football game?
Yeah. Here we go. Here's another thing, too. He's like, hey, remember, because I did a show with Frozen Best. He goes, hey, have you talked to any of your old Yankee teammates? He's like, no.
Oh, yeah, that was a real class act. He goes, no, I haven't, no.
No, I don't talk to those guys.
I like what he said. Friends. Not since the game was over. That's what he goes, no, not since the game was over.
The game was over. We don't talk.
See you.
Amazing.
See you. No, listen, he's a great ball player, but I'm just saying, like, the guy's never happy. You know who he is? He's Kevin Durant. He's Kevin Durant. And there was a famous saying with the Golden State Warriors. And I remember it was during the NBA Finals, and Durant, they were in Toronto, and unnamed Warrior did an interview, and they said, what about Durant? What do you think? And they said, what do I think is he's a two-time NBA Finals MVP who owns a $56 million mansion in San Francisco and makes $480 million a year, and he's not happy. And he said if he's not happy now, he won't be happy anywhere. Right? And, you know, that was so now he's in Phoenix. I don't know. He seems happy enough, I guess, in Phoenix. He's running out of places to get unhappy in. But that's sort of like Soto, right? Soto sort of gets bored after a year or two somewhere, and he wants out after. But Yankees have done a good job, man. You know, they bring in a closer. They get Max Fried. They're overpaying a bit, but they're going with pitching. That's their thing, guys, and it's smart.
Yeah,
right. You know what I mean? You spend the money.
Juan Soto is like that one girl that we all knew in high school. He is very promiscuous, and he likes to get around the block, if you know what I mean. But, the Dodgers landed Blake
I don't know if
Snell,
that's politically.
so
I was going to say, I thought you would go down with she dates the richest guy she knows. That would have been better.
Richie Rich.
She dates the richest guy she knows.
Promiscuous.
But, no, I'm excited about it.
I don't want. You're going to go viral. Call it Juan Soto promiscuous. Maybe he's happily married. Come on.
So I will say I'm pretty stoked about Blake Snell. The Dodgers, they always have pitching issue, the injuries, right? Glass now,
that's why we need like 8 of them. We got to sign a bunch of pitchers.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, our pitching staff just could never stay healthy. So I'm stoked on the Snell signing, and we'll see what happens next year. But yeah, we'll looking forward to it.
They'll get Sasaki too. Sasaki's going to sign with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
I'm actually not even on a side today. Yeah. And I'll get to that. Why are you on Texas?
I gave them a chance. Maybe not me as the overwhelming authority in college football, but entering that game on this set to you guys, I said there was one elite defense entering the matchup in Austin back to end out October. It's not the Bulldogs like it used to be. It is Texas.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
This is Sports Rage. I am Gabriel Morency, Sirius XM Channel 159, SportsGrid Radio and Television Network. Cam Stewart in the house with us. Wes Snipes throwing it down with us as well. So 125, 113 right now for the Memphis Grizzlies. And the Spurs are up 13-12 early in that basketball game. All right, so let's get to some football. We've got 3 games tomorrow. You got the Celebration Bowl, the Army-Navy game, and the Salute to Veterans Bowl tomorrow night. So bowl season set to begin tomorrow. But the Army-Navy game is the biggest game of the day. And there's been some line movement in this game, guys, as the total. The total has actually gone up, despite the fact that this has been a slam dunk under over the years. And in fact, the last 10 years, they haven't crossed this number of 40 points. And we're getting right now, the updated number right now, 40 and 39.5, depending on your spot. Point spread has even come down to 5.5 right now. I thought it would go up, but it looks like people are talking themselves into the midshipmen in this game. And I don't want to offend any Naval Academy servicemen. I have respect for all of you. But I did get a kick out of an Army smack talk tweet that I saw, and it said, Naval Academy members go to Waffle House sober. So give me the Army. Give me the Army Black Knights.
That's a great line. It's like those signs on game day. That's the best.
Yeah.
Waffle House sober.
Navy, this says Navy goes to Waffle House sober.
That's amazing. That's
sort of like
so
Denny's.
good.
Has anyone ever been to a Denny's sober? It's like,
no,
no,
never. Moon's over Miami. I'm wasted.
I guess the Army guys are saying that the Navy guys are uptight. You know what I mean? Like the Army guys are, But Army's the better football team this year. I know I have respect Navy. They're a good team, 8-3. I get it. But for me, Wes, Army, they're going to put the bow on what was a near perfect season for them. These guys are going to look back and they're going to be known as one of the best Army teams in the history of the academy. And with one loss to Notre Dame. And that's not a bad loss to have, looking back on your season. I don't think Navy, I think Army are going to cover, but I'm going to ride the trend. The trend's my friend. I'm going to go under the 39.5/40.
So you brought up Waffle House, so I have to tell the story. So have you ever heard of the Waffle House Challenge? I'm assuming you probably have not, so I'm just going to tell you what it is. So the Waffle House Challenge is very popular in fantasy football, especially where there are Waffle House locations, in which I'm in California and I've never been to a Waffle House. I hear they're very popular on the East Coast and in the South. However, if you lose your fantasy football league, right, if you lose your fantasy football league and you come in last place or the lowest point total, basically if you're the worst fantasy football player on your team, you have to spend 24 hours in a Waffle House, okay, because they're open 24/7. Now, here's the catch. You get 1 hour off for every waffle you eat.
Well, Cam will get out of there in like 4
honestly,
hours.
That
He'd
sounds
be
like a
done
dream.
quick. That's not a challenge.
It's not a challenge. I want to come in last.
He'd be like in 45 minutes. All right, see you later, guys. I'm done.
Can I stay for a week? Yeah, set up a
I get it. I've heard about the challenge. And you know why the challenge is, Cam? Because the Waffle House is a crazy place. So you got to sit there with the crazies. Like, that's where the wild fights are on the internet and stuff at 4 a.m, right?
You're
right.
right.
Seen outside the Waffle House in Atlanta tonight. You know, it's one of those.
I watch a lot of those. I watch a lot of those murder shows. In the first 48, nothing good happens in a Waffle House. That's usually
no. And in fact, fine food. I don't want to upset anybody, but my advice is don't go to a Waffle House past like 9 p.m.
Yeah, for safety purposes. Yeah, their food is good though. I've been to Waffle House many times. Very good.
So, okay, regarding Navy Army, to keep all things serious here. So, I like the over here, okay? I'm going to go over the total. So, we get Blake Horvath, and he's playing. And, Gabe, I think because you were referencing the line movement, and I think the reason that it went up, because I think it was 38.5 even yesterday, all of a sudden it's a 40, and I think that's because of the Horvath news. Navy has done well against the spread the last 9 head-to-heads. Navy has covered 6 of the past 9 head-to-heads. Army, obviously, they're off the great win over Tulane. Obviously, they're not going to have a letdown here. This is one of the greatest rivalries in sports, right? So I just think both teams can score here. To be honest with you, both these teams, even though statistically in recent years, it's under, the under always cashes. This year, though, both of these teams are playing to the over. I believe one of these teams is 7-5 to the over. The other team is 7-4 to the over this year. So I got to roll with the over here. I just think both these teams can put up some points, much so more than in years past. So give me the over.
More on the other side. Let's roll.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFC selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
I'm actually not even on a side today.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that. Why are you on Texas?
I gave them a chance. Maybe not me as the overwhelming authority in college football, but entering that game on this set to you guys, I said there was one elite defense entering the matchup in Austin back to end out October. It's not the Bulldogs like it used to be. It is Texas.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. The pits, the players, the hustlers, the people who bust them, everybody else in between. Montana State starting to pull away right now, baby. They're up 31-10 at the half, albeit laying 14. So there's, there's no like comfort zone here. They're gonna have to keep the pedal to the metal. But it looks like the Vandals left their spray paint at home tonight. You're in Montana now. The sheriff in Bozeman doesn't tolerate vandalism.
John Friesen coming around the corner.
No spray paint cans here.
Yeah, I love those guys. I love Idaho.
See, if I was running the scoreboard, see how my mind thinks? If I was a scoreboard operator, I'd have a video up and stuff of, like, cops arresting vandals. No vandals allowed here, and, like, show them, you know what I mean? And, it has to have some fun with it. But Montana State, we're having fun with this because we laid to 14 with Montana State. All right, so Wes Snipes, Sniper Wes is saying that he's going to go with the over. Listen, we had a lot of guests on this week, as you know, West, and we had a few people like the over. In fact, Doug Kazarian was with us. He liked the Army team total to go over the number, a 23.5, an Army team total. Like you said, Army aren't going to let down. And that's always the fear when you bet an under in this series is but both teams are just going to run their plays to the final whistle, right? There's no quit in either team. They're going to run the same plays over and over and over. But once the plays start working, we've seen some chaos in this game. But for me, I'm gonna be contrary. I'm gonna stay on my side here. I'm riding the under here. I think Army are gonna punch him in the mouth. Like my prediction is Army wins like 27-10, 24-13, 24-10. Cam, you can break the deadlock. What are you taking? Over or under an Army?
I don't even know about the total. I was looking at Navy, but I'm getting scared in this game. I just thought that, the line got up to 7 in some spots, now down to 5.5, 6. I'm like, these guys can play, but I worry about Army. They're a better team than Navy this year. They're well coached. Gabe, to your point about the under too, if any institution gets up a lot, they're just going to keep on pounding and pounding and pounding more, and that clock's just going to keep on rolling and rolling. Like for the over, you almost want like a little bit of a tighter match. I don't know. I'm going to tell you though, Navy was good. Maybe the break will help them a bit. I don't know. I guess teasing, if you can tease, like, what do you get? Army to pick them and then go under? Like, that's something that you could look at. I think you can go either way. I don't think any team's going to win. You think they're going to win by more than 13? Like, you think they're going to blow them out? I don't know about that.
I don't know if that's going to be tough, but it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me. Army are that good.
I want to
this year.
take Navy. Yeah, I want to take
Navy.
Navy.
Army are better than Navy. They just are.
Yeah.
Like there's a different level to their talent. There's their quarterback. The quarterback of Army is just next level. The coaching stuff, just everything. Army's just like clicking this year. Look at the dude. Army just smashed Tulane last weekend.
Yeah, I know.
Like Army are beating real teams. Like they're shutting down real offenses. They've got speed. And like I said, it's a special group. They want to put a bow on this, and no bigger rivalry than Army Navy. We could talk about Michigan and Ohio State and Alabama and Auburn and stuff, but Army and Navy is as big as it gets when it comes to a rivalry.
I know you don't like the other Munkin game from Baltimore, but this he's the real deal. Look what they've done to this program. They were a laughing stock a few years ago. Now winning 11 games, he deserves a medal for what he's done with this institution. Munkin's amazing.
Yeah, Jeff Munkin, very good. They're not brothers. I used to think they were brothers. They're not. They are relatives, obviously, but they're not brothers. I believe they're cousins or whatever. They're part of the same family, but they're not brothers. All right, before we get you out of here, Wes, what else are you looking at this weekend? So besides the Army-Navy game.
Well, we can hop to the NFL for a second if you want. I mean, I got a ton of action here, but I can just tell you about a couple games very briefly because I know we're up against it. I like the Seahawks here. It's just Sunday Night Football, but obviously Green Bay, they're off the loss to the Lions, but they hung tough, right? In Seattle, they played quite well. They won 4 games in a row. The Packers, they've won the last 2 head-to-head. I know they don't play that often, but the Seahawks may have a little revenge. But I think the Seahawks, obviously, with the Rams winning last night, the NFC West is up for grabs. I think they're going to show up. And I think it came down to 2.5. I got Seattle at 3. I like them at 3. If you can get 2.5, I don't know. I'd recommend 2.5, but I like the Seahawks at 3. I like the Buccaneers, man. I like the Buccaneers. If you're going to give me 3 over the Chargers, obviously Jim Harbaugh is going to want to run the ball. That's what he does. But Tampa's stout versus the run. They only allow 115 on the ground a game. That's pretty good. And the Bucs, I mean, they put up 380 every game as far as yards per game. So you're going to give me 3 with Tampa. I'll take the 3 with Tampa. Regarding the Steelers and Eagles, I got to roll with the Steelers, and it might not be popular. In fact, I think the books are maybe begging the public to take the Steelers because they think the Eagles are going to show up. But the Eagles barely beat Carolina. They almost lost, right? I mean, Pittsburgh, they're 10-3, and they're also 10-3 versus the number. So if you're betting on Pittsburgh all year, you're making money. Mike Tomlin, great coaching job, fantastic coaching job. I know Dan Campbell's probably the favorite for Coach of the Year, but Mike Tomlin has done a fantastic job. I got to roll with the Steelers there. I still like the Bills and Lions over. I don't know about you guys, but I wish I would have got it at 51 because I think it opened at 51.5, and it's all to 54.5, probably justifiably so because I think both teams maybe get to 30 here. And I like the Browns. Give me the 4 with the Browns. The Chiefs, they just play with fire every game. I mean, they're not exactly leaking oil. It's hard to say a 12-1 team is leaking oil, but the Chiefs, they just play with fire, man. It seems like every game comes down to a field goal. So if you're going to give me 4 with the Browns, I'm going to take the 4.
That's the leap of faith pick. I like most of your picks here. That's a leap of faith pick because you're right. Logically, it wouldn't surprise. I don't think, I wouldn't be surprised if Cleveland somehow won the football game outright. Right, you see these Kansas City games, they're always 1-point games, 2-point games. I mean, they won back-to-back games, 19-17. The only thing with Cleveland is they're Cleveland, right? Yeah. And sometimes, it doesn't, you know what I mean? You're thinking, okay, they can do this. Maybe Jim, listen, you're counting on Jameis. It's the good Jameis, bad Jameis, right? Well, and he's going to do his pregame speech, and he's going to get everyone fired up, and then you got to just pray that he doesn't throw 6 interceptions. And he's on his game.
The question is, has the good Lord him from his pick sixes yet? And that's the eternal question with James.
The Lord don't care about his pick sixes. Gambler, he should be praying to gambler. Lord don't care.
No,
but you talked about Tomlin. Tomlin, listen, the Steelers are 5-0 as an underdog this year against the spread. Mike Tomlin is 64-28 in his career, which is an incredible number. 64-28. As a single-digit underdog. I mean, the track record speaks for itself. And as you stated, this Philadelphia offense is struggling right now. Right? It's Saquon Barkley saved them. Josh Allen's the MVP because of what the numbers he's put up, but Saquon Barkley's right there. Without Saquon Barkley, the Eagles have 4 less wins, literally and figuratively. There's been a few games where people want Sirianni's head on a platter, And then, there's Saquon for a 70-yard run, right? A touchdown, Saquon, right? And suddenly it mirrors, it covers up a lot of issues that you have, and it's finally caught up to them right now. And I think the Steelers' run defense is good enough to at least contain him, that he's not going to run wild. And let's see if Jalen Hurts can beat him in the air. To me, that's going to be the big question.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not mad at the Saints, too, catching these points. It's 7.5. I think it's even up at 8 at some shops. But, I mean, this team.
What, with Jake Haener? You're going to take the Saints?
Yeah, Haener.
Let me tell you what. When a backup quarterback comes in, teams tend to rally around the backup quarterback. And not only that, for Rizzi, right, the interim head coach, they seem to be rallying around him. They won 3 of their last 4. Washington, I know they're 8-5, but they could be 7-6 if it weren't for the Hail Maryland, as I call it, remember, versus the Bears. So I get the feeling the Saints are going to hang tough. I'm going to take, especially if I'm getting 7.5, I'm going to take the Saints come Sunday.
Yeah, it's a big game for the Washington Commanders. I don't want to lay 7.5 on the road. And we talked about it last night. I like Jake Haener. I liked him in college at Fresno State. He's a real battler, right? But
Grinder.
It could implode on them, right? Like if Washington start rolling offensively here. But the Commanders are hard to trust right now. All right, the Sniper Picks on Twitter. Find Wes Snipes. The Sniper Picks on Twitter. Twitter X.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
I'm actually not even on a side today.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that. Why are you on Texas?
I gave them a chance. Maybe not me as the overwhelming authority in college football, but entering that game on this set to you guys, I said there was one elite defense entering the matchup in Austin back to end out October. It's not the Bulldogs like it used to be. It is Texas.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
All right, let's roll. The Friday Night Free Show continues. SportsGrid Radio and Television Network, Sirius XM Channel 159, 31-10 at the half for Montana State over Idaho. Right now, there were 14-point favorites in this game. The total was like 55 and a half. In-game total 68 and a half right now with the half. And Montana State are laying 27 and a half. Once again, a light night. Tonight. It's been a late night this week and a late night hours with the games. 71-69 right now for the Nuggets over the Clippers. Or excuse me, 71-60 over the Clippers, so the Clippers starting to fall apart a little bit on me right now. The Suns are up a 5 spot on the Utah Jazz at the half. Extremely high-scoring game, guys. 76-71 at the half. In-game total is 265.5. Wow. And the San Antonio Spurs are up a 10 spot on Portland, 37-27. Total is 226.5. All right, let's bring in the Steen roller right now. Scott Steen in the house. Scott, always a pleasure, my man. Thanks for joining us on the Friday Night Free Show. How you doing tonight, Scott?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing a lot better since Montana State decided to get their stuff together there in the first half. And when it was 10-10, I thought we might be in a little bit of trouble. I got them at 13.5. I was thrilled about that. But, yeah, it looks like they're doing their thing. So, yeah, it's a good Friday night for me. Had Army earlier. They went on about a 3-minute run where they just gave it away. They were in ahead most of the game and then just absolutely.
Well, you're betting Army basketball. You're not even waiting for the Army-Navy game. You're betting Army basketball.
I couldn't wait to go with the service academies, man. I got to get involved right away. A day early, absolutely.
So, what do you think, Scott, of the Commander-in-Chief game tomorrow? We just had Wes on, and he didn't have flattering things to say about you. Actually, he said, "Oh, tell a steamroller he's a d-bag." And he goes, "He'll know what it means." So don't shoot the messenger. That's what he said.
He was playing around with AI today, and he typed in, "Is Scott Steen a douchebag?" And it said, "Yes, it appears that he is." So basically, absolutely.
Sorry. I don't want to punch my name in.
That was the first question
in trouble.
Yes.
So we were just talking, and he's going. I don't know. I'm not going to say it's contrarian because we've had a lot of handicappers on this week, and a lot of them like the over of this Army-Navy game, talking about the numbers this year and what these teams have done and all that type of stuff. But call me an old school traditionalist, but I'm not getting in front of a football game to the over that's gone under 10 years in a row. Last year they set the total at 28 and it pushed. All right, it pushed. 28. And for me, I'm almost going to kick back and just hope that all this talk about the over here, and I don't know, maybe we can get a 41 by kickoff or something. So I'm going to hold off, but I'm betting the under of this football game, and I like Army minus the points. What are your thoughts on this one?
I'm riding with you, brother. I'm absolutely riding with you. I think there is a wide gulf between these two teams, especially on the offensive side. Horvath really hasn't been right since that Notre Dame game, and I know he's been banged up here lately. But, man, before the Notre Dame game and including the Notre Dame game, he averaged over 8 yards per carry. Since then, the 3 games, 3.6 yards per carry. If he can't carry the team, the Navy is in a lot of trouble. And they've got a real bad loss on their schedule when they lost to Rice. That was just, to me, inexcusable. So I'm all over Army here, buddy, and I don't know how much Navy's going to be able to score. I've got a prop in this game, too, because, just betting on 19 and 20-year-olds to disappoint me on the side in total wasn't enough. So I'm going to take a prop. And I've got Bryson Daly first touchdown plus 150. Army has 53 touchdowns on the season. Daly has scored 29 of them. So if they get
it's
close,
unbelievable.
If they get within the 7-yard line, he's running the ball till he gets across the goal line. So I love that play a lot.
It's almost like Ashton Genty type numbers when you're getting that low of a number for the first touchdown.
But he's getting plus 150, Gabe, not laying like minus 400. That's the crazy thing when you think about it, too, right? And he's going to get the ball.
Oh, and he will. He will. Like he said, when they get inside the red zone, he's the one that punches it in. I'm seeing I can get a plus 175.
Oh, that's
he's minus 400. He's minus 400 anytime touchdown. You know what I would look at here? Let's look at multi-touchdowns.
Good call.
So, Daly to score 2 or more touchdowns is plus 110.
Yeah. That's solid because they're gonna think
3 or more is plus 375.
Now you might be talking. I mean, you write down Army for
against Tulane, he scored like 4 of them. It seemed he scored 1 million of them. He didn't stop scoring. Like every time they got in close, he scored.
I was on the other side of that Tulane game. I thought that offense would give them fits, and they
so was I. I don't really like remembering it.
Yes, no.
Well, you know what I did after that game? You know what I did, Gabe? I went through their roster player by player. I wanted to see how many of these guys were affected by cold. 85% of the guys were either from Texas or Louisiana. I'm like, well, that's perfect because it was like 22 when they played. To me, that's good football, everybody. That's
and
real deal.
Also, like, we don't know this stuff, but like the freaking quarterback transferred like after the game. So he clearly, like, his heart wasn't in it. Like,
Right.
Like he knew, I'm out of here after this, and like, all right, we're gonna play. I guess like they couldn't pick themselves up off the mat after losing that Memphis game the week before.
Good
But
ball,
the thing
Morency.
is-
He had 4. He had the first touchdown against Tulane, too, and 4 total. So that's a good number at plus 375, actually. You could say it's value. Guy's amazing.
Yeah, it sounds crazy. 3 touchdowns when the total's not even that high, but they don't really hand it off to anyone. He runs the option into the end zone all the time, like when they're inside the 7, the 10 and 7 yard line, etc.
100%.
All right, so we're on the same side as far as that's concerned. I don't know if you're hardcore enough, but you might be if you're betting Army basketball. But I'm betting the Celebration Bowl. We're getting the party started Saturday at noon, the Celebration Bowl. And to me, the total's too light in this football game. We got Jackson State, South Carolina State. The total's 53 right now. It was 54. It's come down. If you look at the history of this bowl game, it's been a high-scoring, bowl game over the years. It's indoors. It's at the Superdome in New Orleans. There's always a great atmosphere for this football game. I love the over 53 and the Celebration Bowl.
I'm with you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
I'm actually not even on a side today.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that. Why are you on Texas?
I gave them a chance. Maybe not me as the overwhelming authority in college football, but entering that game on this set to you guys, I said there was one elite defense entering the matchup in Austin back to end out October. It's not the Bulldogs like it used to be. It is Texas.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. The Friday Night Free Show continues. This is Sports Rage. I'm Gabriel Morency, Sirius XM channel 159. We're throwing it down a steamroller in the house with us, a big Kansas City Chief fan. We're just talking about the Army-Navy game as we were going into the break. I was talking about a Celebration Bowl, and it sounded like you'd agreed with me, steamroller. And you look at these teams, and I do bet this too, so I'm not just jumping in here now. I bet all this stuff. Like you, I'm on Montana State tonight. And, yeah, it's up. They're up 37-10 right now. They're rolling here right now. tonight. Did they get the extra point? Is it 38 now? Yeah, 38.
Yeah, 38, yeah.
They're up at 28 spot right now, laying 14. So good news. Montana State are rolling right now. But you look at these two teams. One of them's riding a 9-game win streak. Another one's riding an 8-game win streak. They're a combined 20-4 coming into the year after starting a combined 3-4. So they're both red hot and both very similar metrics. They both murder the teams that they play to the tune 42-7 and 48-14 over the last 8 games. Like I said, we got a 53 here indoors at the Superdome. It's a fast track, a ton of speed on both teams. Kind of shakier defenses. I'm expecting a track meet in the Celebration Bowl.
Yeah, I think the same thing. And the big factor for me is neither one of these teams have seen an offense like they're about to play. So they've, you look at their numbers and they put some decent defensive numbers up, but neither one of those teams have played anyone with the offensive power that Jackson State and South Carolina State have. I think it's going to be a track meet also. I like the over. I think we're getting a pretty good number there, 53.5.
All right, now we got the Salute to Veterans Bowl tomorrow night. Kind of a tricky one here, but I got to ask myself, should USA actually be a 9-point favorite, guys, over Western Michigan in this football game? Right? Listen, they're playing in Montgomery, Alabama, but as I stated last night, who cares? Like, this game could be in USA's home stadium, and it would still be half empty or more or less than half empty. Like, you know what I mean? It's one of these bowl games. There's going to be like 13,000 people in the stands. It'll be more, there'll be a ton of empty seats here. So I don't think the home field, there's no real home state advantage here, guys. This isn't like the Georgia Bulldogs playing in Atlanta, all right? Like, we're talking about South Alabama playing in Montgomery, Alabama on a Saturday night in bad weather. So, but
good time.
I'm gonna hold my breath and take Western Michigan plus the 9.
Yeah, I think that's the play, and this is honestly probably going to be a stay away for me. But there's no way I'm laying 8.5.
Well, you must bet every bowl game, Scott. That's the rule.
That's what we do. Yep, everyone.
Forget about the rule that you don't have to bet. They have to set a line for every game. But we should warn people, though. It's true, and I've learned this lesson. Trust me, guys. And I've still done, even in my elderly years, I've done dumber things, but. Don't go crazy with these early bowl games. They're bad teams, man. Like there's you know what I mean? You're betting on 6. Put it this way. We're betting on games. Like if South Alabama were playing Western Michigan on a typical Saturday, nobody's betting that game. Nobody wants to be like, "Oh God, I don't want anything to do with that game." Right? But it's a bowl game, and next thing you know, people are going to have thousands of dollars on it and their holiday present budget on it.
I remember, Gabe, I've had a lot of Christmases crying on the ground, praying to Gambler, going, why did I do that with that game? And you're right. It can get
the Boca Raton Bowl's broken up marriages before Cam. People, man, I really shouldn't have bet that 22,000 on that Boca Raton Bowl, man. Like,
I was feeling it.
The Bahama Bowls with the wind blowing 45 miles an hour down there. Just brutal. Some MAC team that's just happy to be on the beach.
That's the last one this year. They saved that. They saved that one for last. So like you said, it's the DGen special on Saturday night. But I had to ask you about it.
Yeah, now that you've guilt tripped me into it, I'll probably put a little pizza money.
What do you guys think about the total? It's like we talk about the over in the other games, 57.5. Is this the under?
I lean with the over.
Under a game? You lean with the over? One of these games.
Man, that Western Michigan defense is so bad.
It's bad.
So terrible.
You're right. It is terrible. It is.
They're one of the worst defenses in the country on third down, right? And South Alabama turned the ball over a lot too, so it has a recipe for points here. Listen, Western Michigan's offense is pretty good. It's kind of hit a wall the last couple of weeks, but I think potentially some of that MAC and Midwestern, that Michigan weather that they play in wasn't helping. And the weather's not going to be a factor tomorrow night. It's not going to be nice, but it's not. Weather won't be a factor in this game. And another thing is, too, guys, bowl games, I hate to say it, but normally, especially in these early ones, man, one team shows up and one team doesn't, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just sort of pray that it's like you're on the team that like showed up early in the game.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
I'm actually not even on a side today.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that. Why are you on Texas?
I gave them a chance. Maybe not me as the overwhelming authority in college football, but entering that game on this set to you guys, I said there was one elite defense entering the matchup in Austin back to end out October. It's not the Bulldogs like it used to be. It is Texas.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
$38-10 Montana State. They're rolling. That's the good news. Bad news, the Clippers are getting drilled right now. So I don't like that because I'm giving away the college football monies because I jumped in on these degenerate special late-night NBA games tonight. But we got a bunch of stuff coming up. I love the NFL card this weekend from a fan perspective. I didn't care or even know about, like, whatever, the NBA Cup. I never looked at the standings or blah, blah, blah. I only knew there were NBA Cup games when I saw the damn court, you know what I mean, during the games.
Right.
But now that we're down to the Final Four, I am into these games tomorrow night, so I'm looking forward to it. We got the football tomorrow, but big weekend, and next weekend it's crazy with the college football playoffs and all that type of stuff. But big stuff tomorrow night. Saturday night main event returns. Old school WWE programming. Saturday night main event in the 80s. Used to go when wrestling was getting big. When Saturday Night Live was on hiatus, and Saturday Night Live would do 3 episodes or take a week off, etc. Basically, 3-4 times a year on Saturday night in the Saturday Night Live same slot, they'd have WWF events called Saturday Night Main Event. And Jesse the Body Ventura was the play-by-play, was the color analyst, and
Lord Alfred
but
Hayes.
it was the old. It was
Stetson?
no, he wasn't on that show, but he was part of the old school days. But he wasn't on Saturday Night Main Event. But the Ventura's back, and they're using all the same graphics. Like they're not modernizing it, so it's not like Saturday Night Main Event. They're going to use the same graphics, same music.
Cool.
Now you won't have King Kong Bundy and stuff. It's not the same.
5.
Yeah, you won't have the same slugs. It's too slick now, right? So I'm hoping that somehow they do it retro, like that the wrestlers look up and you know what I mean, copy some old stuff and whatever. But it's one of the things I'm looking forward to seeing tomorrow.
They all do huge lines of blow in the locker room before they go out there, just like the 80s.
Well, they'll be told, oh no, don't do the steroids and the blow that they did in the 80s.
Exactly.
Right. I like Cody Rhodes.
Only Vince McMahon's allowed to do that.
I like Cody Rhodes minus 1,000, Gabe. I think that's a solid play right there.
Minus 1,000. Joe Burrow?
He's on TV. He is on TV. He's one of their big stars, so they're rolling him out. I'm sure there's a book somewhere that has it. I'm sure there's a couple of books.
offshore, buddy. I'm giving you real lines. That's the real line, right? And that's the best price.
Oh, is he really? Yeah, 1,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, McIntyre's 1,500. Liv Morgan's 1,500. Gunther is 3,000.
For the record, and I don't know the storylines at all, but for the record, I did see wrestling fans complaining about the card, saying that there's no drama and that you know who's going to win. So the odds makers are in step with this. I've bet wrestling before, guys. I used to bet it, and I'd bet the pay-per-views and the WrestleManias and stuff. And I found, like, a good example is this. Like, you don't put a ton of money on it, but let's just say you put $100 on each dog. And you just pray that the WWE script writers want to shake things up and surprise people. Because that's all you're really betting on. They were going to do betting for real on it. Like, they wanted FanDuel and, like, DraftKings. They wanted, like, to be betting for real. Vince McMahon wanted to do it. And they were going to do it. Like, some of the states were going to accept it. But the Vince is out now, and the WWE, they don't want to do it. It's too complicated because what they were going to do is they would have to give the results, like, weeks in advance to, like, the same insurance company that does the NBA lottery and stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, like, they would tell them, all right, so 2 weeks from now, let's say, all right, whatever, now we're in mid-December. It's all right, so January 1st, Raw, Monday Night Raw, here are all the results for the Monday Night Raw. And they would put it in a vault, and then they would take bets on it, right? And like I said, some states were in on it, but the WWE decided not to do it once Vince was gone after. Now, like you said, the offshores do it and stuff like that, but whatever, dude. If you're betting on American Idol and you're betting on political campaigns and races and stuff, like, people always think, oh, they're taking bets on wrestling. It's like, dude, they take bets on everything. They're taking bets right now on what's going to happen to the Mangione shooter guy. You can bet, like, death penalty, this, that, acquittal, whatever. You can bet on everything. Like,
I'd be stunned if there was a book in the world that lets you bet more than $100 on a wrestling match.
Yeah, just make it circle bets.
You'd be surprised, unfortunately.
They're not limiting them, really?
No, there was one in the old days. Bet Chris was, I know because I actually put $2,300 once on a WWE match.
Ooh.
And I know somebody was betting $5,000 a match and stuff like that. And they were taking it. They were taking it. You want to talk about a sweat job, man? Let me tell you. It's one thing to watch a game. It's another thing when you're watching, like, wrestling. You have not do you have control over a sporting event, but you're just helpless. You're just sitting there, right?
Just the 2 3/4. That arm starts to come down for 3, and he lifts that shoulder up.
Yes, I told the story. I already hate Shawn Michaels, but I told the story before where I had a lot of money on the match, and I won the match, and I jumped up, and I was all excited. I was like, yeah, man, I had a dime on that. And I won. And then there's this jackass Shawn Michaels comes running in as the guest referee and says the match must go on. And the match went on, and the sports book says all results on WWE.com are final. So, like, they can pull, like, it really is like Krusty the Clown stuff, Cam. It's like, come on, he's using a ladder, and he's hitting over the head with a chair, ref. And, like, you can't stop it, but you have money on it. You know what I mean? You're like, no,
those
are
the ones that the sports book should be refunding when you have 2 results instead of Mitch Trubisky MVP tickets. Like, you already had 2 results. Like, come on now.
Whenever people say, oh, how can you bet on wrestling? I don't know. Do you bet on MMA? You ever bet on a boxing match before? Yeah, because that's legit, right? Because that's always straight.
It's all the same.
It's all the NBA, NFL, whatever, dude. Thielen scored a touchdown a couple of weeks ago. It's all the same. Sports entertainment. All right, listen, Steen, we're running out of clock here. Chiefs, are they going to cover this week? Your Kansas City Chiefs.
Haven't covered 7 in a row, buddy. They're not going to cover this week.
Yeah, steamroller. I love it.
Another close one, huh?
Yeah, money line parlays, no covers. That's
Is
KC.
it really 7 weeks in a row now? Is it 0-7?
Oh yeah, the last time they
7 weeks
covered was San Francisco, I think. 7 weeks. Was it 7 weeks ago? Steamrollers, San Fran.
That's correct. Yeah, yep, 7 straight. 7 straight. They haven't. I don't think they've won by more than 3 in 4 weeks. 5 weeks. So, no.
Wow.
Back to back 1917s. Who else do you like in the NFL? What else are you looking at this week?
Let me take a quick look here. You know what? I heard you guys talking earlier about the Commanders game. I don't have the same faith in Hainer that y'all do. I
don't.
No.
That was them,
No,
not me.
No. That was them, not me. I just said Hainer started. He's a grinder.
I always got to stress the guests, the voices of other people are not my opinion.
Yeah, that was.
I said I like them at Fresno, but I don't trust them here.
Yeah, they're going to grind him into the turf is what they're going to do. You know, this is the big revenge game for Lattimore. This is Lattimore's first start with
it's his first game. Yeah.
So,
good call.
I'm on the Commanders here. They are a shaky team at covering the number, and I don't love that defense, but I think Hainer's the great equalizer. Maybe he'll get hurt and Spencer Rattler will come in, so that'd be great. No.
What's the thing? They got murdered. You know, and I even like Rattler, but what happened? Remember when he played, Scott? They got murdered all the time. Like whenever Carr's out, they get killed.
Yep.
Absolutely. Hey, give me the under in the Bills-Lions game. I think the Bills are going to tighten up that defense over that game. I know. I'm going the other way. Under 54.5. I like the over in the Steelers-Eagles game. This has been a different Steelers offense since Russ started, and Eagles averaged 30 points a game over their last 8. Give me the over there.
Yeah, they're just reeling me in on that one too. 43.5, 43. Come on. The Bills I can't agree with, but I agree with you with the Eagles and the Steelers.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
Do we have a fantasy star on our hands here, George? Here is the question with Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders. A lot of folks went into the fantasy season saying, hey, look, maybe this isn't Anthony Richardson, but it could be the next best thing. I'm here to tell you, I don't know. I'm sort of feeling like Daniels could be better than Anthony Richardson.
I don't know if I'm going to go there yet, all right, but I think he's in the conversation, yeah. What did we hear at draft time? A lot of people wanted a quarterback who can move. Right? You don't want the guy who's going to take 5-7 steps and throw the football anymore because you want that additional rushing yards. You know, you get 50, 60 yards, that's a touchdown. Right? That's why Josh Allen is so valuable. Lamar Jackson is so valuable. Right? You go up and down. Jalen Hurts. You go up and down here. I think Daniels is going to be a good quarterback. I think Washington got their guy, and he can throw the football too. We know McLaurin's a really good wide receiver. It may not be much else there. We'll see what McCaffrey can be. Luke McCaffrey can be there in time. But, you know, I do have hope for him. I think at season's end, he's going to be a quarterback one. It may be a low-end quarterback one, but a quarterback one nonetheless.
Yeah, I was really impressed watching him in that game. All right, now Anthony Richardson, look, he's going to have a big year. He's going to have a big fantasy year. There's no question about it. I don't know about the long-term viability here. And look, give him credit. He hung in there with the Houston Texans. My fear for him, George, is that when you go back and you watch film, if you protect the deep ball against Richardson, he could hurt you with his legs. And that may be where all of his fantasy value is coming from. I cannot see him throwing 2 70-yard bombs like he did again.
That should come in time, right? Practice time. I think he will get better here. I think Richardson's going to be fine. Does need to learn how to avoid hits. All right. Once again, that hit. Remember that hit from Tua last night? He initiated it. Slide. The rules are made for you not to get hit. Take advantage of them.
The Friday Night Free Show continues. Thanks to the Steamroller for joining us on the program. We got Rob Vino ready to step up and in momentarily. As far as the college football game is concerned tonight, it's a full-out route right now. We're in a comfort zone. It's 45-10 for Montana State. And there's about 40 seconds left in the third quarter of play, so they're up by 35. An absolute rout. And as I talked about, a lot of times in these FCS playoffs, you can get drawn in, man, like moths to a light. Seeing all these points and like, oh boy, look at all it's a lot of points to lay. But man, the home field really, really matters in the FCS playoffs. The question is, 1 week from tonight, will the home field matter as much in South Bend, Indiana? Let's bring in Rob Vino right now to break it all down. Rob Vino, RobVinoSports.com, WagerTalk.com. What's going on, Rob? How you doing tonight?
I am good tonight, everybody. How you guys doing?
Great.
I'm all right, Rob. We're on Montana State. That's pretty good, but not doing great in the NBA right now. So I'm not too happy about giving the NBA monies, putting the NBA money back on the table after the college football. But there's still some time left. Did you play this Montana State-Idaho game tonight?
I did, and then I bailed and went in game, and I think I'm going to get it back. I played under 57.
So did I.
Obvious that was not going to go my way, and so I saw 61.5 when it was already 28-10 or something, and so I dove in on 61.5. So we need a touchdown, Gabe. I know Montana State will probably try to slow this thing down somewhat, but still, I think we can get another 7 out of this game. The way Idaho's special teams are giving short fields away in this one.
In-game total is currently 68.5, and I wouldn't be surprised if it gets there still. I don't think they'll take the pedal off the metal. I think they'll just continue to run the score up. They're rocking there, they're drinking, they're cranking Metallica, and they're kicking the crap out of the Idaho Vandals. Before we get to the other games, what about Saturday's FCS slate? Anything catch your eye? And I'm going to sound like a hypocrite like all gamblers do all the time, because I was just talking about how home field matters, but I've developed a soft spot in my heart for this UC Davis football team. I've been riding this team through the playoffs, and they've been pretty good to me. They're still alive right now. They keep winning outright as an underdog. They're getting 5.5 at South Dakota, and it's one of the lower spreads here, you'll notice, guys. And it should be noted, South Dakota play in a dome. So UC Davis, being the Californian team that they are, they catch a break. They're not playing outdoors in the bad weather in South Dakota. They're playing indoors. That's why the number is lower. They're getting 5.5. I like the over 58 in that game. I am tempted by UC Davis at plus 5.5. And as I brought up earlier in the week, UC Davis have just joined the Mountain West Conference even with everything except football. I don't know why football yet. I guess they'll join eventually because their football program is pretty good. But UC Davis joining the Mountain West. You got Incarnate Word getting 19 to South Dakota State, total 54.5. Mercer, North Dakota State, 53.5. And 22.5 here, Robin. Like me, brother, every time I bet an under, I lose. You've learned your lesson. We've sinned. I told you. It's like going to a confession.
Yep.
You've sinned, and you paid a price for it.
On the other end of that, on the NBA tonight, I only had one play. It was the Pacers team total over 110.5. So I didn't sit in there, and I got rewarded for it. So you're right. We need to stay on the right side of gambling.
You stuck to God's plan, and it worked.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll tell you this. The first game I played it back on Tuesday. I took 6.5 with Cal Davis. You mentioned one of the reasons. It is indoor. You don't have to worry about this Bozeman, Montana weather, this Brookings, South Dakota weather. It's inside. Should be fine. A lot of people, Gabe, thought this team was Final Four material way back before the season started. I don't know if you've gotten a chance to see this kid, the running back, Lan Larison. He's like a rodeo stud and everything else. He's a real Northwest, Midwest, I don't know what you want to call it as far as geographical stuff is concerned, but being out west, he's a little bit different. He's a cowboy. They got a really good quarterback in Hastings. Their new head coach, Tim Plow, is offense, pedal to the middle. And I feel like these teams, I watched South Dakota last week give up a ton of points for all their overall statistical work, all of these Missouri Valley teams. If you can spread them out, they're a little bit vulnerable. I think Cal Davis can spread them out. I think they could stick within 6.5. Of course, as you mentioned, it's now down to 5.5. Still think Cal Davis has potential to win the game. Real quick, if I was to play the total, that's one that you would play over. The other side that doesn't have to worry about bad weather is Mercer, right? They're going to go play North Dakota State in the Fargo Dome. So Mercer doesn't have to worry about North Dakota weather as well. To me, that one, you know what, I shouldn't sin, but to me, that one stays under. I don't know if Mercer can score enough. And then the UIW Incarnate Word game, I think that one goes over, Gabe. They are a team that will spread you out. Remember, their quarterback, Zach Calzada, was the starter at A&M just last year for a couple of games, or the year before, I forget. So they're a pretty good offensive team, and I think that will go over the number.
Dude, Incarnate Word's had some great quarterbacks over the years and some great offenses. Getting 19 in this game. South Dakota State are actually the favorites to win it all. And we got the Navy-Army game tomorrow. And this is where I'm going to sin, Rob, but not really, because I'm not getting in front of the gambling gods on this one. We've had a lot of debate, so I look forward to your take on it. And I see a 40 right now, Navy-Army, 10 straight unders. Military academies, when they play against each other, the under history, it's like 52-11, last 63 games. I'm not getting in front of all of this, Rob. What are you doing with the total of the Army-Navy game?
Yeah, you can't do anything but play under, Gabe. I mean, to play over into that trend is just way too much for even somebody like me. I can't play into that trend. I will say this. Somewhat interested in the plus 6.5 with the Navy side. Horvath is going to play now. The quarterback for Navy didn't play the last 2 games. The only good common opponent you can find on their schedule is Notre Dame. Notre Dame beats Army 49-14. They beat Navy 51-14, 2 points difference. In that game, Army gives up 482 total yards. The kicker is they gave it up on 47 plays. For Navy, 466, a little bit better. Neither did well, is the bottom line, but Navy did just as well against Notre Dame as Army did. 6.5 might be worth it here.
Yeah. Neither did well.
I like that.
No, they
Both
didn't.
on neutral fields, too.
Yeah, good call, Rob.
You know, I got no beef with Notre Dame. I used to not like them. Now, whatever, I got no beef with them. But I would have liked to see an Army run the table and get into the playoffs just to mix things up.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
I'm actually not even on a side today.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that. Why are you on Texas?
I gave them a chance. Maybe not me as the overwhelming authority in college football, but entering that game on this set to you guys, I said there was one elite defense entering the matchup in Austin back to end out October. It's not the Bulldogs like it used to be. It is Texas.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
The Friday Night Free Show continues. This is SportsRage. I am Morency, Sirius XM channel 159, and Montana State are now up 51-10. 51-10. So we got ourselves a rout here right now. All right, let's blast through some football games. We got Rob Bino in the house with us. We'll get you up to date in the NBA in a minute, but I'll tell you right now, the Nuggets are murdering the Clippers. And I tell you what, the total, it was really low scoring, and it really came on, man. The final score is 120-98 in the game. Phoenix are up 117-111 with 9 minutes left in the game. God, the total's 277.5 right now. How about that, Vino? 277.5.
Yeah, KD back, Jordan Clarkson back on the other side, Markkinen has all offense, all the time.
Can we get there? So what? We're at we're at 228 right now. So we need 50 points actually. So it's exactly 50 points in 9 minutes. 117-111.
Still could get free throws. You might get free throws at the end. Maybe you could.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. To get there, we're going to need the score to be 140 to to the 140s. That's very possible actually here.
It is.
When they've been playing no defense like this all game, it's almost like the players want to hit and set records. So it's like, just keep going. There's a method to the madness in the NBA. Especially pre-All-Star game. Everybody wants to, like, they kind of let each other put up numbers. They don't admit it, but it's like a secret little a wink-wink agreement that they have. I got to restart my app, unfortunately. I'm going to get screwed on a bad number here.
No coincidence that Durant picked tonight to come back, right, Gabe, as far as personal offense is concerned. Let's come back and get Utah.
Good call. For a record, 52-10 right now. So in-game total, 72.5. I told you, I thought it could even go over to 68.5. The Montana State right now, guys, they're laying 44.5 points. They're up by 42. So, Rob, I've been telling people the Celebration Bowl, first game up in the morning, noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, the Black College bowl game. First one up. I like the over 53. I'm pulling the trigger here. If you look at the numbers of both these teams, they both routinely get into the 40s and 50s playing against inferior competition. Is there a concern now that they clash, that there won't be points? But both these offenses are very prolific. They both smoke their opponents.
Yeah, and I think 4 of the last 5 Celebration Bowls have hit 59 or better. I think I saw when I was
in the Superdome. Nice fast track indoors.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. And I made a point of watching the full replay of Jackson State Southern this week just to see the Jackson State offense. And actually, they got down in that game, Gabe. They were behind Southern in a rivalry, and they came back with a vengeance. And then it wasn't really close. So I'm with you. I did play that one over 53.5 just based on mathematics. It looked way too small to me and what I witnessed of Jackson State offensively. Even when Deion was there, when Deion was there, they were much better defensively. And they still had some issues with South Carolina State. I was kind of looking that side until they pushed it from 1.5 dog all the way to 3-point favorites. So I'm off the side, but I'm on the total.
Don't you kind of lean South Carolina State, though, in this? Just, due to their pedigree, as you stated. Jackson State, we've seen them get there before. They couldn't finish the job, and they got lit up that time with Deion. I just get the feeling, I could be wrong, but it's just sort of my gut that South Carolina State are the better team.
I totally agree. I think it was more the number that just chased me, but I couldn't disagree or argue off of that.
All right, well, we're having a tougher time with this next one. Although I'm pulling the trigger, I'm going to hope for the best with Western Michigan and South Alabama. What's your take on that one tomorrow night? Any action for you on the total of this one or side?
Trying to get info on Gio Lopez is like pulling teeth here. If I could get, you got to be proactive, I guess, Gabe. And I got to guess that Lopez is going to be your starting quarterback here, despite the ankle issue. If he is, it's a track meet. It's got to be a track meet one way or the other. Western Michigan stops nobody, but they run all over everybody. They've got good quarterback play. And the other side, the same. We've seen South Alabama put up some huge, huge numbers this season offensively when Lopez was at the helm. So I think the number's too low. It's obviously pushed down 2 points because of the question mark next to his name. But again, you don't have bad weather conditions. South Alabama at home and Western Michigan, for what it's worth. I believe the head coach is from this area as well. So maybe a little something for them being here in Montgomery, Alabama.
Glamorous bowl trip for the kids from Western Michigan.
Anything to
from
get out
Kalamazoo.
I'm thinking that some kids are thinking, man, maybe we shouldn't have won that 6th game after all.
Yeah.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
I'm actually not even on a side today.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that. Why are you on Texas?
I gave them a chance. Maybe not me as the overwhelming authority in college football, but entering that game on this set to you guys, I said there was one elite defense entering the matchup in Austin back to end out October. It's not the Bulldogs like it used to be. It is Texas.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
The 52-16 Montana State right now. Still 12 minutes left in this football game, too. So mercifully, it continues on for the Idaho Vandals. We're talking bowls and more with Rob Vino, Cam Stewart in the house. I'm Gabriel Morency, Sirius XM Channel 159, SportsGrid Radio and Television Networks. So, Rob, before we get to the NFL, quick look ahead. 1 week from tonight, we'll be talking about Notre Dame and Indiana. And for the record, actually, a programming note, since this game is next Friday night, we will be on live early in our Sunday night format, essentially. We'll be on from 8 until midnight for the Indiana and the Notre Dame game. So that's pretty cool. We'll do the first playoff game next Friday night. Weather won't be too bad in South Bend, Indiana, actually. Now it's still a week away, but now that we're a week away from this right now, Rob, anything catch your eye? Did you bet anything already, or are you waiting for a number to move? What are your thoughts on the college football playoff numbers?
No, I know it's key, Gabe, where totals are concerned, but I went ahead and played the over 51 already. To me, Indiana doesn't stop good offenses from what we've seen. Once Ohio State got into a rhythm, it was pretty much lights out for that team. But I think, this is not just my opinion, I think they learned a little bit in that game from an offensive standpoint, playing against what is like the number 2 or number 1 ranked defense in the country in Ohio State. So I think they can get their share here against Notre Dame. I think that Cignetti got his kids to a big game. They saw it come back in another big game, probably scored up. I don't think they can win the game because I'm fairly high on Notre Dame this year. But 51 looked low, Gabe. I could see something with Indiana involved. I could see something in this, 34 to 20 range rather easily, 34 to 21, which puts this thing well over the total without any pressure. So that's the way I played it so far. You see some Indiana money in this game. I don't know that I'm willing to go that far, but I do think they'll score their points to get us over.
I don't want to scare you, but I read it the exact same way, and I told someone just 2 days ago or yesterday or whatnot. They said, what do you think of this game? And I said, Notre Dame wins like 34-24 or something. Mm. You know what? It reminds me of the, 40 to 30. Like, I think Indiana will score, but I don't think they'll be able to stop Notre Dame. And I'm with you, actually. I think Notre Dame are a lot better than people are giving them credit for. Right, and we'll find. Well, listen, they're favorites, so they're getting some respect here. But they could beat Georgia after, right? Especially without Carson Beck, right? I think this is different. Notre Dame have NFL talent, guys. This isn't the old Brian Kelly teams. They had some NFL talent, but this is an edgier team. They have a swagger, right? Like it's almost like they're not the leprechaun school anymore and stuff. Like Freeman is, you know what I mean? He's tough and like they got speed. They're good on both sides of the ball. Riley Leonard's a really good quarterback. They haven't played a tough schedule, but Indiana will be manageable enough for them. So I agree with the total, but I kind of agree, too, that Notre Dame will end up pulling away. I don't think it's a blowout, but I think they'll pull away. The Penn State-SMU game perplexes me a bit because I could actually see it going both ways. It wouldn't shock me if Penn State murdered them and beat them 48-28 or something. And it also wouldn't surprise me if we were like, oh, my God, it's 31-31 with 5 minutes left. What's your early take, Rob?
Yeah, I continue to try to be because I like the program, but I can't get behind Kevin Jennings at quarterback, Gabe. You watch him against Clemson, and they got behind real early because he looked like a frightened high school player out there against Clemson's pass rush. It was really crazy. Second half comeback.
Wait till he's in Happy Valley, bro. That was on a neutral field.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, And the other side of that coin is you hate to lay this number with Franklin because you know where he ends up. But I don't know if I consider this a big game. I don't know if it's Penn State, Ohio State. I shouldn't say big game, but big opponent. It's SMU. It's not Ohio State. It's not Oregon like they played last week, and they showed well offensively against Oregon. I think they make this number, to tell you the truth. Probably 10-plus win there. If SMU gets behind this defense the way they got behind Clemson, they're not coming back the way they did against Clemson, at least not in my opinion.
I like the first two overs here. I like the Indiana Notre Dame over 51, SMU Penn State over 54. Clemson, Texas, the first thing that jumps off the screen at me, guys, is Clemson plus 11. I think Clemson can hang with Texas. The total 51.5. I'm not ready to bet the under, but I'm not running to the computer here to bet the over. People say run into the window unless you're in a casino. I'm going to use I'm not running to the computer. And then you got Tennessee and Ohio State, which, Rob, that game could be 2017, right? I mean, you're talking about two freaking elite defenses. And Tennessee, I'm telling you guys, Tennessee are just going to look at the game tape of Michigan from the last couple of years, and they're going to say, you know what? We could do the same thing. We're going to run the ball between the tackles. We're going to play bully ball with these guys. We'll terrorize their quarterback and get in Howard's head here. I like Tennessee plus the 7.5. That total is pretty low at 47. What's your take, Rob?
Yeah, that one's difficult for me, to be honest. I'll skip back to Clemson, Texas real quick since we were there. One more time, I'll say it about the quarterback. I'm just not a fan of Quinn Ewers. I think Quinn Ewers is more hype than substance at this point in time. And Clemson with that pass rush and Texas's inability to put up huge numbers against good defenses makes you a little skeptical of laying 11. You'd probably rather take it. This Tennessee-Ohio State game, the great separator between the two is the offenses. Ohio State's leaps and bounds more gifted offensively than Tennessee is. Tennessee's got a running back in Dylan Sampson. He's got some fumble issues. Quarterback's been erratic, the freshman Nico. It's tough against that defense. If they don't get anything going, Gabe, they may not get anything going all game long. You almost think that their defense would have to force some short fields, which is very capable of. Pierce and company can play some defense. But I'm a little bit leery of both sides here because I could see Ohio State messing it up, but I could also see Ohio State winning fairly big. And it's a huge, huge game for Ryan Day. I mean, it's just not that huge for Josh Heupel. It's huge for Ryan Day because if he loses this, I know they just said that he's coming back next year, but I don't know. He'll be like James Franklin is here in Pennsylvania.
The pressure's all on him, and I was going to say, as a Michigan fan, we know who I'm pulling for in this game. Go Vols. Go Vols.
You want Ryan Day to stick around, though, don't you?
Well, I was just going to say, I don't want to get him. I don't want to get him fired. I want to keep carrying around. Let's keep carrying around. And how about Ohio? And I told you, Cam. I mean, you laugh when I said they're carrying. They really are. Yeah. Like they're the ones that freaked out. Oh, they're stealing our signs. They snitched on Harbaugh for a hamburger or whatever. I'm going to hang 100 on Michigan, and then they cried about They cried about the Oregon Ducks manipulating the rules late in the football game when Lanning was smart enough to deliberately take the penalty. And they're always complaining. And now, Rob, you got to love the story of the state legislator that want to make it a criminal felony to plant the flag in their stadium. Like,
shut
if
up.
I'm, and hey, do we have we'll do this, do you have time to get the best of X up right now before the break, or you want to do it on the other side, actually, because it's in this theme? Yeah, we do. Let's roll this right now. This is my Merry Christmas to you, Ohio. Merry Christmas, everybody.
That's amazing. That's fantastic. I love it. Oh, that's so good with the lights and we get all that. That's really sharp. That's fantastic. Great. That's amazing.
No, I'm not even kidding, though. One of the politicians in Ohio wants to make it a felony. Yeah, look at this. You see, you got the Michigan. Go blue. Look, he's getting it.
I can't believe that guy. That's just nuts. I'll tell you, Ryan Davies is just the men's spokesperson if he gets fired with that dark beard. I'll tell you, real dark.
That's crazy. That really is.
That's amazing.
Dude, looks like it's spray painted on his face and his hair. He's using like the Rudy Giuliani stuff. Like he's gonna start melting under the lights. He's gonna have like black lines roll down his face. It's like, bro, we know you don't have black hair, bro.
Yeah.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
I'm actually not even on a side today.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that. Why are you on Texas?
I gave them a challenge. Maybe not me as the overwhelming authority in college football, but entering that game on this set to you guys, I said there was one elite defense entering the matchup in Austin back to end out October. It's not the Bulldogs like it used to be. It is Texas.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. We're talking football with Rob Vino and Cam Stewart. All right, let's get to some NFL football here. Big weekend of games, obviously. We can almost blast through every game, rapid fire here. Baltimore Ravens and the New York Giants. I was dangerous, and, I was thinking it was dangerous enough for me last week to take the New York Giants plus the points against the New Orleans Saints. I got to make a case for it. Derek Carr was 114-1 against the spread on the road in his last 16 road games. I almost want to do it again, but this is the definition of going back and robbing the same bank like 2 weeks in a row. And, man, 16.5 points, a lot of points, guys. Total's 42.5. You got the Bengals laying 5 coming off their win against the Cowboys. Bad spot off the Monday nighter, but Tennessee blow. They're really bad. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Bengals roll total 46.5. And then you got the Cowboys and Panthers. We'll start with those 3 quickly, rapid fire. Cam, what are your picks? What do you think of those games? And then we'll get Rob's quick takes. If you don't have a pick on the games, we'll just pass and move on.
Oh, I do. And I know I'm going to get my mic cut, and everyone laughed at me, and Wetzel laughed at me. I like Tennessee this week, but I'm just a sucker for punishment. I will take the 5 with the Titans. I must be nuts with Will Levis, the Mayo man. But I'm telling you, I don't lay points with the Bengals, Gabe. They were very lucky in that game when we were on them against Dallas. One thing is, they don't cover numbers and their defense sucks. I'm telling you, this could be a spot for Tennessee, but I thought Tennessee would be better than they are this year. Give me Tennessee plus 5, but that's not going to be a popular opinion.
I've been riding the Panthers the last couple of weeks, guys. I don't know if I can take them as a favorite, though. I've been taking them as an underdog all the time. What do you think about any interest in any one of these 3 early games, Rob?
I'll give you 2 of the overs. I think if Baltimore's defense is, and how much will they care in a non-conference game? All they have to do is really allow 13 to the Giants, and 31-13 puts that game over the number. I think that number is too low, 42.5. The weather's not going to be unbearable. And Baltimore comes from the Northeast anyway, so for the Eastern Seaboard.
And DeVito goes for the Giants.
Oh, DeVito.
Yeah. Let's call him DeVito because as an Italian, I can't stand the other nickname for him. And then I think,
I don't want to start something here, but like his agent, bro, like lay off the shtick, bro. Like as an Italian, it's like you want to play up to the stereotypes anymore, bro. Than you do. You know what I mean?
Dude, I wouldn't trust his agent at like a Pete. Like that guy looks.
I saw him at the Super Bowl too, and people tell me, "Oh, he's a nice guy." And my boy Sarah knows him stuff, but I saw him. I was like, dude, same thing. I'd be like, this guy's an NFL. I'm like, really? Like he was dressed up, like he looked like a leprechaun, like a Notre Dame. I'm like, what's going on here?
You're right. The guy like shops at Men's Warehouse. You're an agent to an NFLer. Like I look at the guy's.
Like, you know, he cruised through the Super Bowl media row. Like, look at me, because it's like, dude, you represent a 4-string quarterback. The only reason he's popular. The only reason he's popular is because he's Italian and his name is DeVito, and he fleeces pizza joints in New York City. Right? Like, if he was on like the Carolina Panthers, no one would care. You got an Italian playing in New Jersey, Rob. You know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you, I mean, if the guy was Tony Romo, I could understand the agent acting like that. But even Tony Romo didn't have lousy nicknames. So Baltimore over with the Giants, and then Dallas, Carolina you got to look over, right, Gabe? I mean, Bryce Young has been playing fantastic. What they've done there, Canales with that offense, it looks totally different now. They're able to move the football and score. So I thought 43 was low in that game as well. Those 2 overs.
Yeah, good eye there. It's hard to argue that. Carolina's defense still doesn't stop anybody. And I agree, Bryce Young played well enough to warrant not drafting a quarterback and keeping his job there. Get him some talent now to work around him. Chiefs are laying 4, 0-7 ATS last 7, total 43 in Cleveland. Dolphins get 3 in Texas, 46.5. Jets and Jags. I can't lie to you guys. I don't really like the early slate here. Nothing has jumped off the screen at me here as far as these games are concerned. Vino, any interest here? I'd like to take the Browns, and you know what? I'll take the Browns in a teaser. This is a great teaser week. I'll take the Browns. I'll get it up to 11 points here, and I'll pair it with something else because KC don't blow teams out, but don't love the early slate. Any thoughts on that 3 pack there of KC, Cleveland, Miami, Houston, New York, Jacks?
Yeah, real quick, I'll just say that you're afraid with Kansas City because you're always afraid this will be the week that they do win by 7 and cover. The numbers are just so low. So I can't. Jameis is going to throw it around. I'd consider, as I get a better look at the weather, I'd consider over just the way that Jameis, they play vertical football right now. Maybe that's not a large number. We talked about 2 other games in that vicinity. But the other 2 games, no real opinion on. I mean, Jacksonville's a horror show for sure. And I forget which one you even mentioned now. Maybe it was Miami and Houston. I'll say this. Miami keeps scoring points, but they don't look fluid offensively, Gabe. I don't know what it is. They keep getting to this 27 or better mark, but it's not because they look really crisp offensively. And Houston's been a mess with penalties and kind of self-inflicted wounds. It's a game where you could see it hitting the key number of 47. Just a matter of, whether you want to pull the trigger or not.
You got the Commanders, Saints, and then the great 425 slate. Bills, Lions, Colts, Broncos, Steelers, Eagles, Packers, Seahawks, the nightcap, Bucks, and Chargers. I can tell you, I'll just tell you guys, I'll give you my bets in a couple of minutes, everybody. But Bills, Lions, got to be a track meet there, Rob. And my gut instinct, the Morency gut pick of the week is the Indianapolis Colts +4. I'm taking the Steelers +5.5. You're in Philly. What's your feeling about the 425 slate?
Yeah, I think Philly's going to come through here. I think it's a little different than last year. This whole thing, it's nothing. I mean, they haven't talked about anything else since Sunday night. And when Brandon Graham added a little fuel to the fire, speculation, just these reporters, you know what it's like here, Gabe, in these cities, Philly, Boston, New York. It's just terrible. But I think I think Jalen's the kind of guy that can shake it all off. And I think they're just a better. It's the offensive line for me against Pittsburgh. I know they're a really good defense, but that offensive line moves everybody. And I don't know if Russ has enough up his sleeve to stay within 5.5 there. I'll say real quick, I like the Bills. I know it's a bad scheduling spot, right? You just played in Southern California. You played a 44-42 game. Now you got to fly to an Eastern time zone, play what might be the most elite team in the league. But those defensive injuries on Detroit's side, Gabe, I can't get over them. Green Bay moved the ball at will in the second half. So I think Buffalo also, I like with the over. And until Denver beats a good team, and I don't know, I guess it matters how you classify Indianapolis. But until they beat one, I don't know that I could lay points with them. They beat all the garbage, and then when the good teams show up, they don't win.
Love it.
Great breakdown, Rob. As always, my man, enjoy the games. We'll catch up with you the next week.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
I'm actually not even on a side today.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that. Why are you on Texas?
I gave them a challenge. Maybe not me as the overwhelming authority in college football, but entering that game on this set to you guys, I said there was one elite defense entering the matchup in Austin back to end out October. It's not the Bulldogs like it used to be. It is Texas.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
Man, I'm getting killed tonight in the NBA. 90-83 right now. The Blazers have come back. They're up 7 on the San Antonio Spurs. I do have some player props in this game with Wembanyama, but we fell short tonight with the Denver Nuggets. We hit the football game. On to the weekend. It's been a give and take week for us all week long, but on to the weekend here, and we got some best bets for you, but I'll get Cam's best bets here first. Cam, what are your best bets in the NFL this weekend?
I like the Buffalo Bills to beat Detroit outright. It was 2.5. Now it's down to 1. I think the Seahawks at 3 are going to cover against the Packers. I kind of with Vino. I think Philadelphia is going to beat Pittsburgh. I don't know what I'm going to do with that game with the 5.5, but I think they probably win by a touchdown. I'm taking the Tennessee Titans. Cut his mic. +5 against the Cincinnati Bengals, and I'm with you. I lean Indianapolis Colts. I can't lay points with Denver till they beat a real team, Gabe.
I'm on a lot of the similar picks, so let's get my best bets up. We've got a full collection of picks for you here. We got some college picks. We got NFL picks. We got NBA Cup picks. Let's start off with some college football. Celebration time. Come on. It's the Celebration Bowl in New Orleans, home of the Super Bowl this year as well. This game is played to the over the years, as we were talking about earlier. For the last 5 years, this game gets into the high 50s. It's indoors. Got a fast track in New Orleans. Usually have prolific offenses playing in this game. So let's go Jackson State. Not Jacksonville State, but Jackson State, where Deion Sanders was before with Travis Hunter. And South Carolina State over the 53. Army's down to 5.5 right now, but I'll lay the points with the Cadets. Give me Army minus the points. We're going to ride the trend here of Army-Navy under the points. Army and Navy under 40. We're going to roll the dice. The nightcap, listen, these bowl games, they're, especially the early ones, man, these MAC games and stuff, they're real toss-ups. But we're going to go with Western Michigan plus the points, and we'll go over 57.5 with USA and Western Michigan. All right, NFL football, best bets. We had 5 picks locked in for the Super Contest. The Rams was our first pick, and we hit that one. Now we ride the Buffalo Bills plus the 2.5 points. Obviously, buy it up to 3, but it's 2.5 right now. If you don't want to buy it up to 3, fine, but give me the Buffalo Bills plus the points. The Bills and the Lions are going to go over the number. Listen, the Lions still have a million injuries on defense, guys. They have 12 players out on defense that were on the roster to start the season. The Bills, put up 30 points routinely. Don't forget the Packers hung 31 up on Detroit last Thursday night. Expect this game to be another track meet. It goes over to 54.5. Indianapolis Colts are battling for their playoff lives. They're 2 games back of the Broncos. They win this game. Suddenly they have the tiebreaker against them, and they're only 1 game back. They would just need to keep winning, and they need Denver to stumble at some point. So this is a must-win game for the Indianapolis Colts. I don't know if they're going to win the game, but to me, this game's going to be like 21-20 or something. 23-22, 23-20, 24-23. It's going to be super close. I like the Indianapolis Colts plus the points here against the Denver Broncos. Pittsburgh Steelers. Give me the Steelers plus the points. Ideally, I'd hope that Pickens would play, but if he doesn't, I don't mind. They can contain Saquon Barkley. Similar to the trend of Army-Navy that we're just not getting in front of 10 straight unders. Dude, Mike Tomlin is 64-28 in his career as a single-digit underdog. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 5-0 against the spread as an underdog this year. Mike Tomlin is a Hall of Fame coach who gets disrespected on a weekly and yearly basis. Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, yeah, and I'm getting Russell Wilson at plus 5.5 here against the Jalen Hurts passing attack that sucks right now. Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers plus the points. And finally, in closing, I'll take the Seattle Seahawks plus the points. I preferred it at 3. Listen, the Packers are a good team who I'm a fan of. They've won 9 games this year. It should be noted the Green Bay Packers have 1 win against teams with winning records this year. Give me the Seattle Seahawks. In a must-win game, actually, for the Seahawks. Otherwise, the Rams are going to win this division. And even now, I think the Rams might backdoor this thing. So Seattle better keep winning football games. And finally, in closing on the way out, NBA Cup. This should be cool tomorrow night, actually. The Atlanta Hawks are smoking hot right now. They've won 7 of their last 8 games outright. Give me the Atlanta Hawks on the money line to beat the Milwaukee Bucks, and give me the Oklahoma City Thunder on the money line to beat the Houston Rockets. Money line parlay plus 244. Cash it. Other than that, you're on your own. Later.